Hey guys, your local emergency manager here, and this is part 2 to the last video I created called What is Emergency Management? So just to give you a little background, FEMA was created in 1979, but emergency management didn't really become a degree program until after the September 11th attacks. Emergency management is kind of the child of civil defense, and emergency management is really important to the community. So for this video, I'd like to go over the 5 phases of emergency management, along with resilience and resistance. But just for fun, I'd like to up the phases and make it the 6 phases of emergency management. That way we could include the old and the new. Alright, first up is mitigation. So mitigation is basically improving the infrastructure to lessen the impact of a disaster. A lot of great companies in the mitigation sector are the Department of Transportation, the Army Corps of Engineers, and a lot of other companies. Now the preparedness sector. So the preparedness sector involves a lot of emergency preparedness trainers, and also the preparedness sector kind of reminds me of the Boy Scouts, because the motto of the Boy Scouts is be prepared. There are a lot of people involved in the preparedness sector, such as firefighters, police officers, social workers, and anyone who responds during the response phase. Alright, next up is prevention and protection. So prevention and protection are basically the same thing. They both deal with the intelligence sector and all anti-terrorism tactics. Protection and prevention sector basically protects us from all terrorism attacks, both foreign and domestic. Alright, next up is the incident. This isn't part of the phases, but it's a very important part. The incident can be a tornado, a hurricane, an asteroid impact, or a terrorism attack. Alright, during your response phase is your first responders, your disaster responders, both volunteer and paid, and a lot of people are involved in the response. EMTs, firefighters, police officers, and a whole lot of other organizations such as the government sector, the private sector, and the volunteer organizations. Alright, during the recovery phase, there's a lot of people involved in the recovery phase. Those that repair the infrastructure, and also crisis counselors. Crisis counselors give assistance to those who were affected by the disaster, and they assist them emotionally. Alright, the next thing I'd like to talk about is resistance. So resistance is kind of a hard thing to achieve. Whenever a community is resistant to a disaster, it means that they're totally unaffected. One of the best examples of resistance that I could think of is what SpaceX is trying to achieve. They are trying to make humanity a multi-planetary species. This would make humanity resistant to extinction because we are spread out on 2 different planets. Alright, last but not least is resilience. So resilience means that the community can easily bounce back after a disaster. Disaster resilient communities are able to bounce back after a disaster with little effect. Alright, I hope you guys liked the video. Like, comment, and subscribe for all things emergency management, and stay tuned for episode 3 where I'll talk about all the career fields you guys could go into with an emergency management degree. Thanks guys.